Welcome back, everyone. It is week 2. I hope you had a fantastic week. We are back with the Fantasy Alarm Thursday night pregame show. We are talking right before the LA Chargers versus the Kansas City Chiefs, which I'm very hopeful will be a fantastic game. But I'm here with Howard Bender, and we are taking your questions live in the Fantasy Alarm Discord. So get your start sit questions ready. We are taking them directly in the live stream Q&A. And Howard.
Oh yes, hi. How are you?
How did week 1 treat you?
Oh, right. Here you go. I'm going to put on my lightning bolt hat here and tell you that week 1 treated me very well, right? The DFS playbook did real nice. I went 5 for 6 on my picks for over at pickswise.com. So I felt good about that. The only shaft that I took was the Colts not covering that spread. Everything else was yummy delish. And then, of my 30 fantasy leagues, I probably won, somewhere around 23 to 25 of them. So I felt pretty good. I felt pretty good about the way it all went down. You?
I'm not a math whiz, but I think that's a good percentage. For me, good. I'm not in 30, but I am in quite a few. And aside from a couple disappointing losses, overall good week. I felt super good because I don't know about you, but there were a few players that I was pretty bullish on this season that I did not want to be wrong on. And they came in week 1 and proved me right. So I didn't have to eat crow on DeAndre Swift and Jalen Hurts. So I was very happy about that one because when you speak about guys just way too much and you just don't want to like immediately come off the bat and get smacked in the face with being wrong.
You definitely don't want to get smacked in the face with being wrong. But you know what? I'll say this. In all honesty, if there's a time to be wrong about something, it's week 1, right? I mean,
yeah.
We're sitting here right now, like having to, figure stuff out, right? We don't know target pecking orders on, at least a dozen teams. We don't know backfield carry distribution on at least 5 to 7 teams right now. So we're sitting there, trying to kind of, ascertain what we're, not just what we're seeing, but what we know we should be expecting, right? Like this is also that time of the year where the coaches are like, like little league coaches, and everybody's got to play an inning, right? Everybody's got to, get a little time on the field there just to make sure. So, I'll say this, right? And listen, I know that you are more right than you're wrong during week 1. I know I'm more right than I'm wrong on week 1, but if there is a time to say it and for that to happen, then then that's what you do, right? You end up having to just, kind of eat a little crow for week 1. But dude, I'd rather, have all my fantasy teams start off 0-1 because I know that I'll be 7-1 by week 8.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess speaking of eating crow, I guess we can kind of talk about we're a Thursday night pregame show. I guess we can do like a Thursday night like post-game recap of like what happened last week. Eating crow, I think, Allen Robinson,
Oof.
Matt Stafford,
Oof.
Cam Akers.
Oof.
I mean, there were some unfortunate happenings last week. I think maybe talk here so we can discuss, what's real, what's to be concerned, what it's like, hey, you know what, it's week 1, it's not that big of a deal between these 3 guys, Stafford and Robinson and Cam Akers. Let's start off with the fun one. Cam Akers.
Ooh, I mean, is that fun? Are we having fun with Cam Akers? All right. You're in trouble when your coach says that you need to have a greater sense of urgency when you're on the field. That's a little on the disheartening side. Now, is that a motivational comment, right? Where it's like, I know this is going to piss him off if I say this, right? And then all of a sudden, do we see Cam Akers carry the ball 12 times for 62 yards and a touchdown this week, right? Like, I mean, that's, I don't think it's going to end up that way. I think that he wants to really drive the point home on Cam Akers. Akers is a stash, though, right? This is just, we know it, right? We saw the way McVay used, even while Akers was out, he used Henderson and he used Sony Michel, right? They utilized multiple running backs. You've got Darrell Henderson and Cam Akers to be able to fill that same role this year. So Akers to me is a stash. You put him on your bench. You roll with Henderson right now, and hope that water finds its own level, and Akers kind of gets back into it. Right? Unbelievable. Right? That needs a greater sense of urgency. Right? Tara, I was watching your videos and I felt like you needed a greater sense of urgency. And what a
Yeah.
dick comment that is. Ay, ay, ay. But we'll see how he
Yeah, that
reacts.
one would yeah, that would be painful. I saw I guess he was pretty surprised by it too. He didn't really realize that level of playtime was going to happen for him. So it's kind of crazy. I mean, I expected this to be leaning more on a committee side. I didn't feel like Daryl Henderson was going to get phased out. I didn't feel like Cam Akers was going to be that aggressive workload, Todd Gurley type of usage. But I didn't think it would be that level of bad. So it's kind of interesting. But then, moving on to Matt Stafford and Allen Robinson, I guess we can talk about them together because it's kind of tied together in terms
Oh, I
of
don't wanna. I don't wanna.
yeah, because I mean, I don't know about you, but I definitely have some Allen Robinson that did not work out very well for me in fantasy lineups, unfortunately. I don't know. On my end, I'm not hyper concerned about Allen Robinson in particular. I don't think this is like a Kenny Golladay situation where we're looking at somebody that has just, it's on the player and they're not performing up to par and there's an issue with Allen Robinson. He looked fine to me. I didn't see any issues on the field, but it is concerning that, with Matt Stafford, I don't feel like he was able to get beyond Cooper Kupp because he was so overwhelmed out there. And you have to wonder, obviously they were kind of, exposed by, well, granted, by a fantastic defense in Buffalo. So I think that's a little bit different than what they'll be facing moving forward. But level of concern here for Stafford and Allen Robinson.
My level of concern for Stafford is greater than my level of concern for A-Rob. All right. I do genuinely believe that sometime around week 5 or week 6, we're going to be told that Stafford's elbow is kind of, acting up a little bit. He's going to miss some practices. Everybody's going to be like, oh, whatever. He'll be fine. I just don't know. So for me, I do genuinely believe that at some point this season, we will see Stafford miss some time with this. I mean, it's partially torn UCL. And granted, it's not the same throwing motion as a starting pitcher in baseball, but I mean, it's bad news. It really is, right? You got the PRP injection before OTAs. You didn't throw for an extended period of time. You didn't have that rapport with your wide receivers during camp because you were still being held back and being eased into everything. Then all of a sudden you were like, oh, this is, hurt. It's like, doctor, it hurts when I do this. So don't do that,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it was kind of that situation for Stafford. So that makes me a little bit nervous as far as that goes. As for Allen Robinson, it would be the hugest kick in the ass, wouldn't it? If like all of a sudden Robinson doesn't play well, right? Like we were like sitting there last year, we were like, oh, he's fine, he's Allen Robinson, we're okay, and then all of a sudden it was like, we got to start sitting Allen Robinson on our benches because we're not sure. And maybe it's the rapport here with Justin Fields. And now he's, with the Rams, he didn't have a lot of time with Stafford in the offseason. So I would say that for Allen Robinson, like if he doesn't deliver in the next week or two, then I could be done with him, right? Like then I could be out, which would depress me because I love Allen Robinson.
Same. Very, very hopeful. I think we can kind of maybe dive into injuries around the league too. Hopefully not too long because it's a ridiculous amount.
I was just going to say, let me get my list.
Yeah. Before we dive into these questions, I see you guys already putting them in the Discord and the live stream Q&A. So that is perfect. Make sure that you're getting them in that area and we'll jump to them hopefully real quick before we get through all of this crazy Injury news. I guess we can start off here with our premier game with the Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs. We've obviously got one massive one to look at in terms of Keenan Allen, and I know you're getting them, and I'm getting them too. All of the wonderful questions around Josh Palmer and how all of this affects him. We've got, and we've got several options, in terms of guys that can see a boost from the absence of Keenan Allen. We've got Mike Williams. We've got Josh Palmer. We've got Gerald Everett, who came through as a nice streaming option as well. So who are you looking towards to step up for Keenan Allen, and how much are we trusting them?
I'm okay trusting Josh Palmer. I really am. What I don't understand, and maybe you could help me, because I know that I know what state of the union you live in. So DeAndre Carter is a player who was, near you last season, right? I mean, I can only say last season because this guy he's on his 5th team in 5 years, right? He's a 29-year-old dude who's like 4'3", right? 82 pounds. And he's on his 5th team in 5 years, but everybody's like, oh my God, this dude's going to be amazing, right? There's an article on NFL.com talking about singing the praises of DeAndre Carter. No. Josh Palmer, for me, he's the guy. I love Josh Palmer. He can line up on the outside. He can line up in the slot like Keenan Allen. He can be very versatile. So in 3 wide receiver sets, you'll probably see Palmer sitting there in the slot for the majority of time. You get Williams as the X receiver, and then you've got DeAndre Carter on the other side. I think Palmer's the guy who steps up. Now the question is, at what point do you say, I'm going to use Josh Palmer over somebody else, right? Like, I mean, I've gotten questions about Rashad Bateman, Deontay Johnson, Brandon Cooks. Like, all of these guys are being considered for people benching them because they've got Josh Palmer. Those guys, the 3 that I mentioned, I wouldn't sit in favor of Josh Palmer. I like Palmer. I love Herbert. But I don't necessarily know if it's trustworthy for my lineup yet.
Yeah, I agree. And I really like Josh Palmer. I drafted him in a lot of leagues because this is the moment that I was waiting for him to step out when not that I was predicting that Keenan Allen would get hurt, but you got to look at history, age, him and both Mike Williams, that at some point this opportunity would come. I didn't think it would be so soon, but at some point this opportunity would come for Josh Palmer to be able to step up, and he's proven that he can step up and be productive when either one of them are out. So for me, I agree with you. When I look at him and where I'm comfortable with starting him, I'm comfortable with starting him over guys that I was looking at in the flex. Guys that I was holding in the wide receiver too, that's kind of the line where I'm looking at, where I'm not comfortable with moving him up over those guys. A guy like Deontay, when you have known volume, I know we've got, quarterback situations and whatnot where you can get a little bit concerned. But if I've got guys like, let's say, Elijah Moore, Hunter Renfrow, maybe even Adam Thielen, as I'm getting a little bit concerned about the level of volume that he's going to be able to get with Justin Jefferson and the aggressive takeover that he's doing in that Kevin O'Connell offense. If I've got guys that I'm willing to move out of my flex, aside from maybe Christian Kirk, because I think we both kind of love that man.
I love that man.
Yeah.
Love that man.
Maybe that's my line right there, is Christian Kirk. I'm like, maybe not so much there. But guys that maybe are a little bit shakier in the flex, I'm more than willing to put Palmer in there. I think he's a definite start this week.
All right, let's play a little game, Tara. How about that? I'm looking at the weekly rankings from Adam Ronis over at Fantasy Alarm. Would you start Josh Palmer over? And here we go. Ready? I'll say it. Jerry Jeudy.
No. I like what I saw out of Jerry Jeudy.
Me too.
I really did.
Me too.
So I'm still sticking with Jeudy.
I'm just ascertaining here, where we're at. Deontay Johnson.
Nope, I would still stick with Deontay.
Juju Smith-Schuster. Oh.
I think I'm still gonna stick it out with Juju.
Okay.
I feel validated that Juju is that wide receiver 1 option there. And granted, it's behind Travis Kelce, but I think he's more solid. I think we know exactly what we're gonna get. So I would lean towards Juju.
All right. Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks. Yeah, I would still start with Brandon Cooks.
Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, Jalen Waddle.
Here's a tricky one. CeeDee Lamb.
Now
Oh,
this this is
whoa!
tricky because I've been advising some weird things over CeeDee Lamb this week that I didn't think that I would say, but I am. I I would probably lean towards Josh Palmer over CeeDee Lamb.
Okay, Michael
No, watch
Thomas.
CeeDee Lamb go off. No, Michael Thomas. I would still lean towards
CeeDee
Michael
Lamb
Thomas.
is not going off. Stop it. You know he's not going off.
No.
All right, here's the tough one then. Allen Robinson.
I would go with Josh Palmer.
All right. See, so that's where we are.
I wanna see it out of Allen. If I've got a guy that I still need to see it out of, then I can lean towards Josh Palmer.
So we're at the back end of the top 30 is really where it is. And that's, listen, I think that's a fair assessment, right? Like you said, guys like Allen Robinson, Adam Thielen, even like a guy like Julio Jones or Jarvis Landry, these are definite, I don't really know which way I'm going to go, and could therefore say, I'll go with Josh Palmer because this game tonight is supposed to be a track meet. But is it though? Is it going to be a track meet though?
I think it is. I do. I think it is.
You're
I know
over the 54.
I won't take the over.
You are taking it.
I'm not bold enough to take the over.
Okay.
But it'll get close. Whether it will exceed that, I'm not super confident on that, but I don't think we're going to get one of those bad Thursday night where we get terrible offense and we've got, 20-23. I don't think we're going to get that out of these two teams. I think we've got these are two incredibly competent quarterbacks that I trust. That they're not gonna lay an egg on us. So I'm good.
I said 26-27 was going to be was potentially the final score. It's on the under because I love the Chargers defense, and I think the Chargers defense has been rebuilt to a point where I'm all in on that Chargers D, right? Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa on the outside linebacker, the edge rushers.
Very solid.
I mean, I kind of fear for my life just watching some of those hits that those guys are going to do. So, I feel like, still Mahomes is Mahomes and, the dude's an outright stud no matter who his receivers are. But yeah, I feel like this is going to be, it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I think it comes down to the very end of it here. And possibly comes down to like a missed field goal or a missed extra point by, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know who's kicking for the Chiefs.
Oh yeah. That's then they just called him up and I cannot remember his name.
Yeah. I don't know his name either. Shame on us, right? For not knowing.
Yeah. Right.
What's wrong with us?
Well, when I saw it, I was like, it's very similar to something.
Matt Amendola.
Yeah, that's why I was like, Amendola, huh?
But he's no relation to Danny Amendola because Matt Amendola uses 2 M's in his name.
Yes.
Either way, that dude's going to miss an extra point at the end, and it's going to just drive everybody bonkers.
Yeah.
Chargers +4.
I think that makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, that's the big so I think we, other injuries that we can talk about real quick before we dive into the Discord. I mean, they're kind of all over the place in terms of guys that are completely sitting out and missing practice. We've got Mike Evans, we've got Michael Pittman, we've got DeAndre Swift, who has missed 2 in a row, although he's told us that he's good to go. So you know what, I'm going to trust him. It's out of the words of his mouth. So hey, but it's very interesting how we got these guys. When we get Wednesday did not practices, I never panic, but seeping over into Thursday is a little bit unusual. But are we kind of getting like a week 1 kind of extra rest day for some of these guys who have injury concerns?
I feel like we are. Like the top tier talent, right? I mean, we know it. I mean, God, you remember sitting there reading practice reports when Megatron was playing for Detroit? You were like, this dude's never at practice. What are we worried about, right? Comes out, misses practice all week long, and he comes out and he's like 12 catches for 147 yards and 3 touchdowns. So no, I'm not, Swift, I'm not really that worried about, although, he's a must start for me. But would it
Yeah.
be the weirdest thing in the world to see Jamal Williams get a little bit of extra work there just to kind of spare some early wear and tear on DeAndre Swift? I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. But I mean, he's still, I still got to put him in as a must start in this matchup.
Yeah, I agree. Diving into, let's jump in here because I see a lot coming in. There are 8 new messages since I last looked at it for us to take Q&A in the Fantasy Alarm Discord. Make sure that you guys are in there in the live stream Q&A. And let's see. Let me start off with the first one that I see right there. Half PPR from Giants fan 13. Need 1 wide receiver, 1 flex between. Aha, we're going to sit so much Palmer. Devin Singletary, Josh Palmer, Michael Thomas, and Curtis Samuel. This is a good grouping. So we need a wide receiver and a flex.
Curtis Samuel, right?
Right?
I don't know how you feel about Curtis Samuel. I mean, first of all, I wish I loved anything as much as Scott Turner loves Curtis Samuel. I will say, right? He wants to use him in so many different ways. So Samuel to me is going to be, I'm going to lock him down as the wide receiver in this one here. I mean, the matchup against Detroit is yummy delish. I can definitely get down with that. To me, this comes down to Michael Thomas versus Josh Palmer.
Yep.
And as much as I love Josh Palmer, you cannot ignore the fact that Jameis Winston turned around on Sunday and was like, oh, it's Michael Thomas. Okay, yes. Let me throw him the ball.
I completely agree. Yeah, I'm with you. Lots of Curtis Samuel start sets, and every time I look at it, I'm just kind of like, I like him because I believe in it in terms of I think the volume is going to be there. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, I like Jahan Dotson, but again, we got to remember this is a rookie. We've got big boom capabilities out of him, but I don't know if he's going to be a target hog in the same way that Curtis Samuel is. So, and it kind of makes you wonder about Terry McLaurin as well. But yeah, Curtis Samuel, I agree with you.
I still think that McLaurin's going to get his and he's going to be fine. He's the number 1. I love him, right? But he does rely very heavily on that deep pass and that big bomb. What I love about Samuel is that, Turner loves to get the most out of his players. And we saw this when they were in Carolina together, right? Curtis Samuel was the wide back before Deebo Samuel was even considered the wide back, right? The problem is that Curtis Samuel kind of made out of glass, right? And the dude has just been, I think it is 5 years as a professional football player. He's played 1 season of 16 games. He played 1 season of 15. And he's been hurt the entire time. So that's what's holding him back. But yeah, I mean, Scott Turner wants to use him in exactly that same way. And I agree with you. I think that's going to be a great volume play, at least until he gets hurt. Knock wood that he doesn't, though, because I have him everywhere.
Healthy Curtis Samuel, top 24 receiver. If he plays the whole season, are you feeling it?
I'm feeling it. Top 24 wide receiver, Curtis Samuel. If he plays all season long, yes, 100%. I'm in on that.
Nice. All right. Question from KJN333. Should I stream quarterbacks weekly in a vampire league, starting QB right now with Trevor Lawrence? And I don't think that I have a good chance to win with him.
Well, see, I know that this is my good friend Karen Russell. Hi, Karen. How are you? And she joined in. She jumped into this vampire league as the vampire, right? They were just like, we need somebody, and she built her team off the waiver wire. I mean, I think should you stream QBs? It obviously depends on who the QBs are available. I don't hate Trevor Lawrence, right? I feel like with Doug Peterson, a system in place, a supportive ground game, and weapons, right? Kirk, you still have Marvin Jones, you got Zay Jones, even Evan Engram's there, Dan Arnold is still there. I kind of believe in Trevor Lawrence, and I would ride him unless you're saying that, it's like, a gimme, like Wentz against Detroit was last week, right? I mean, is there somebody that you're going to want to, Wentz at Detroit is this week, isn't it? Oh, yeah, it is. what was it? It was
Yes.
Wentz against Jacksonville last week,
Yep.
right? So, I mean, listen, Wentz against Detroit, if that's, the possibility there, sure. But, Jacksonville's going to have to throw. They're going to have to throw. They're going to fall out of games. So, I mean, it really depends on who the other option is, but I don't mind Lawrence at all.
Yeah, I mean, he had over 40 attempts. I think that continues. And I think kind of like that might have, I don't know, that might have been more of a baseline game because we saw volume. We didn't see multiple touchdowns, although we did see one touchdown. So I guess that's a fantastic sign for him after last year
Oh, my God.
and the struggles. So we can give him like a hand clap on that one. Not a lot of rushing attempts. So maybe there's, more opportunity. I would look at this week as kind of like a baseline. And I think I agree with you. I think there might be a little bit more upside there than we're thinking than we are expecting. So yeah, I agree with you on that one. Jack 101, good evening for my Superflex half PPR league. We got a trade question. Oh no, he was able to trade. He traded Jameis Winston for Lamb. That was when did it happen?
Did you make this trade before Dak went down? I mean, I get buying low, but like Winston in a super flex to me has really strong value. Either way, we're not here to critique the trade, are we?
No, we are not. We've got I think that might just be us like I know I'm kind of obsessed with that New Orleans receiving core, so I lean aggressively that way. But the question here with Mike Williams playing tonight, need 2 receivers and a flex between these are good options. Winston, or between Williams, Sutton, Lamb, Penny, Ayuk, and Akers.
For me, it's Williams, Sutton, and Ayuk. I think with Elijah Mitchell banged up, I think this is where it happens again, where Debo starts getting more carries. And the team knows. The team's like, yeah, we can do it. He's got all these incentive clauses in his contract now for that. So I think that opens things up a little bit more for Ayuk. I can't trust Cooper Rush with Lamb. And Rashad Penny, I mean, he looked okay, absolutely. I just don't necessarily know. I think it was more of the offensive line kind of playing over their head. And I think the linebackers are fast enough to get to the outside from San Francisco to take on, Rashad Penny running the, to the outside. So I like Ayuk, Sutton, and Williams here. So upsetting that we didn't even mention Akers, right? I don't even, did you even give him as an option?
Not at all. That's not, I wouldn't even go that direction. It was for sure Williams and Sutton, and we're nixing out Lamb, unfortunately. So it comes down to whether we're doing Penny or Ayuk. And I agree with you. I mean, we got to keep in mind that I guess it doesn't look like Kittle is going to be playing again. Unfortunately, we've got continued no practicing for him. I'm not feeling pretty good about it. So take advantage of Ayuk while you can and just see what the level of play that he can get. Because again, he was very impressive towards the end of last season. So I agree with that. And then also a question from same user. Dak just got dropped. Should you put in your waiver dropping Mills to get him? There are no other starting quarterbacks on waivers. Oh man, that's Dak got dropped, and this is a super flex league. That's awful risky because Davis Mills will immediately get snatched up.
Davis Mills will immediately get snatched up. I guess the question is all right, so he traded away Winston, right? Which means that, I mean, I don't know how many quarterback did he have 4 QBs to start Superflex.
Oh, he's also got have Allen and Murray.
Oh, all right. So he's got Josh. He's got Josh Allen and Kyler Murray.
Yeah. Well, then I would.
Well, yeah.
You really need to go ahead and you can take that risk.
Yeah, I would drop Mills and add Dak. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Unreal. That makes sense.
All right. What else we got?
All right. Now we have. Let's see. We've got a question from Brunch. Half PPR. Start 1. Adam Thielen or James Robinson. Who you got? I know who I got.
You know who you got? All right, I'm going to go with Adam Thielen. As much as I love James Robinson, this Colts defensive line, I don't know, is Shaq Leonard playing? Is he back yet, or is he not
I
back yet? I need to look
don't
that. I'm
think
looking it up.
so.
I'm looking it up. Where's my boy
Yeah, look that up.
Shaq Leonard? Used to go by Darius. I don't know why. Why would you go from Darius to Shaquille? Like Darius Leonard just
Same
sounded so much better.
same reason you changed your name from Robbie with a Y to Robbie IE. You just want to do it.
You just wanted
to.
to. I'm gonna change my name to Howard, but there's an F in the middle of it, but it's silent.
Yeah.
Full participant for on Wednesday's practice for
Okay.
Shaquille / Darius Leonard. So that kind of, between with DeForest Buckner, Ashawn Robinson on that defensive line, you got Shaq Leonard in the middle now. So to me, I'm gonna go over to Adam Thielen and hope that this game against the Eagles turns into a little bit more of a track meet. Justin Jefferson will get the
Yeah.
bulk, but I mean, how do you count out Adam Thielen in the red zone? You just can't.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I've got I've got mild concerns about these unfortunate Minnesota pass catchers that are not Justin Jefferson. Thinking about whether or not this offense starts looking very similar to the way that the Rams did last year, um, with Jefferson being the cup. But I think that we should give Adam Thielen another go or two before we determine that he's no longer going to be the same Adam Thielen that had, because I think they mentioned in preseason he was getting a lot of attention in the red zone. So I think maybe this first game was just a little bit of an oddity where he didn't get that opportunity. And he's still going to be a big presence in the red zone. So I agree with you. We just need to go ahead right there because it is the better matchup. All right.
Ooh.
DAS, Deslurry. Deslurry 1.
Deslurry.
Need major PPR help with my mediocre wide receiver core in PPR. Need 3. It's not as mediocre as you. It's mediocre, but you got some options here. Alan Lazard, Curtis Samuel, Michael Carter, Mecole Hardman, Adam Thielen, Jarvis Landry, Chase Claypool, Devonta Smith. Need 3.
So it is an interesting core. I will say that Lazard.
Oh wait, he said Carter, so it's probably DeAndre Carter. Never mind. Wide receivers.
I'd be a whole lot cooler if it was Michael Carter. I'll tell you that.
Yes.
I said it on the Fantasy Alarm Show on Sirius XM the other day. If Alan Lazard does not see 10 targets this week, if he starts and plays, if he doesn't see 10 targets, I'm dyeing my hair green. All right, because
nice.
After Aaron Rodgers, bruised his his ocular muscles, rolling his eyes every time a rookie dropped a pass. You know that he's just going to be like, I'm just throwing it to Lazard.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take him. I'm going to take Curtis Samuel because I absolutely love him. And then it gets a little hinky here. It kind of comes down to, for me, it comes down to Hardman, Thielen, and Landry, right?
Yeah.
Landry's got the PPR upside of catching a bunch of passes. Thielen, obviously the red zone, and then Hardman, saw 6 targets.
Yeah.
Who do you like out of that 3? Let's tag team this one here. I'll say Lazard and Samuel. I'll take the easy route, and then you can.
I lean towards Landry. I think the volume is going to continue to be there for him. So I think that's probably the safest option to go with.
Well, I'm glad you said that because that's the one that I actually wanted to say, but I know that there are a ton of people who know that I have Landry all over the place. I didn't want them to think that I was picking my own guy, but I was picking my own guy.
Nice.
Pick.
Are you on this subject? This is an interesting group. Are you concerned with Devonta Smith?
No, I'm really not. I mean, listen, I don't think that this is Hurts to AJ Brown all day, every day. I think this was, excuse me, a great matchup. I think that, AJ Brown had, got great separation, had a great time. It was a great first. Devonta Smith and Jalen Hurts built a nice rapport last year. I think Hurts has Brown, Smith, and Goddard, and it's those 3 guys right there. And while yes, he showed all that love for Brown and nothing for Devonta Smith, I don't think that's going to be the case regularly here. So again, am I starting him out of this group? No, but I'm definitely going to hold him. There's no way I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to drop him and pick up
True.
Old Meaties the Chaos.
True. I agree with that one. All right, we've got a nice big old list here from Roddy. Needs 2 flex options in PPR. This is obviously a deep bit. Oh no, they're two separates. All right, we got Jeff Wilson, James Robinson, Darnell Mooney, Dameon Pierce, and Elijah Moore.
Oh. I know you like Moore. You said that you yelled at me last week, right? You like slapped me through the camera.
I do. Although it's kind of interesting, man. The target distribution there was super even. I mean, we even had Corey Davis, and then the usage with the running backs, both Brees Hall and Michael Carter. I don't know, man. I mean, they're throwing for volume, but it's going all over the place.
Yeah. Well, I think Jeff Wilson's a guy that you kind of have to go with, at least because I mean, I figured Jordan Mason and even Tyrion Davis Price will kind of get mixed in. Debo's going to take a lot of the work also, but I feel like San Francisco gets down inside the 5, and they're handing it off to Wilson, right? They're going to try and just run it up the gut with him. So I feel like Wilson's the guy that you have to start here. I don't love Dameon Pierce's matchup with Denver, right? And we're going to have to watch and see what the distribution is there between him and Rex Burkhead. I've already told you I love James Robinson, but I don't like this matchup against the Colts. So then it becomes Mooney and Elijah Moore. I'm probably going to go with Elijah Moore because the team is going to throw for volume, even though it is Joey Flacco. So that's kind of where I'm going here with that. Although I'll be honest, I didn't really dive too deeply into Chicago versus Green Bay. So maybe Mooney's the guy. I don't know. Who do you like as the second one?
I lean towards Mooney, and it was kind of weird because I felt coming into the season that secondary would be an incredible strength for Green Bay. And then, they kind of got picked apart by Minnesota. Now, granted, the difference between Minnesota and Chicago is immense. So maybe this is a good bounce back game for them. But I like the volume with Mooney. I have to lean towards that again. He's the option. And I think that he's still going to have the opportunity. So I think I'm going with Jeff Wilson and Darnell Mooney.
All right, there you go. Jeff Wilson and Darnell Mooney it is.
And then one more flex option between Devonta Smith, James Robinson, and Tyler Boyd.
If T. Higgins is out, then Tyler Boyd is my guy. If T. Higgins plays, I'll actually go to Devonta Smith here over James Robinson because they're playing Minnesota. Because I think that game could turn into a bit of a track meet.
I'm not sure I'm bold enough to do it, but I agree with you on Tyler Boyd, but I think I might still be running back to James Robinson.
All right.
Over Devonta Smith.
Should we bet?
They're torn.
Should we bet Devonta Smith versus James Robinson?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Loser.
I'm feeling confident.
Loser shaves their head.
Not that confident. You're not gonna get me on that one.
That's my go-to right there. When I know that somebody's like, when I know that it's like super close, then I want to put the onus on somebody else. But all right, I'll tell you what. Let's see. The loser has to sing a nice song about the winner on the next Thursday live stream. Has to open the show with, at least a stanza.
Okay.
Done.
I'm open to that.
All right.
We'll do it. Come on, James Robinson. Let's go. All right. Next question let's take some more questions. I see them coming in. And then we will jump to, we'll talk a little DFS for tonight's game for the showdown. Let's see. Where did I leave off on the questions? We got from
Sigmachi.
Player in PPR dropped. Someone dropped Hunter Renfrow. Would you be dropping Brandon Ayuk to get him?
Okay. It's actually Sigma Chi 1012. Like I just realized that as we were going through it.
I would have never gotten it though. I would not.
Right? I would not be dropping Brandon Ayuk for Hunter Renfrow. I think there's got to be a different drop that you can make. There's got to be, right?
I agree.
You got a backup tight end sitting there, right? Stupidly. Then you
Yeah,
grab Renfro.
agree. All right, from Wildfire, need to start one of these three between Dotson and Thielen and Drake London. It's a very interesting grouping.
Ooh, start one of these. I think I'm gonna
Got a couple fancy rookies in here.
right. I love what I saw at a Drake London. I really
Mm-hmm.
do like what I
Yeah.
saw, and I saw the volume was there for him as well. I do worry about this matchup against the Rams,
Yeah.
right? And I do think that right, it is the Rams. Yeah, it's Atlanta traveling across country, going to the Rams. You're gonna have Jalen Ramsey in there, so that's definitely a kind of a I don't know if I can do that sort of a thing. So I probably
Yeah.
would say I would play it safe and go with Thielen. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't even know on this one here. I feel like right. I feel like we like poo poo Jahan Dotson and his 2 touchdowns last week, and then all of a sudden he balls
And he's
out,
going to turn around and do it
kills us again.
again.
I don't know about this one.
I will take the risk with London. I agree with you. I really liked what I saw right there. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not going to be high volume for Mariota by any means, but yeah, I'll go with London. I'll take the risk there.
London, it is.
All right, from YCPOF 05, half PPR, Waller or Pitts?
Ooh. I'm gonna go with Waller in this one here. I mean, again, I don't like the matchup against the Rams secondary, but we saw him right off the bat, Mahomes to Kelsey, right? I mean, bing bang boom against Arizona. What's to say that Derek Carr's not going to be able to do that with Darren Waller at times as well? So Waller's my guy there.
Yeah, I agree with you. And then one more question from him or her. Need one between Allen Robinson, Metcalf, Dotson, Chark, or Burks.
I'd probably go Metcalf here, right? He saw the volume, right? Even though it's Geno. I'm good there.
The targets were there. It wasn't the fantastic yardage, but I agree with you. I think out of that grouping, I'm trusting the volume of Metcalf.
Yeah. Sweet.
From Brunch, 1 point PPR, pick one. Jeff Wilson, Brandon Ayuk, DJ Chark.
Oof. I guess I got to go Jeff Wilson here just for the carry heavy possibilities. Yeah. As much as I love, and I love Ayuk, but.
Yeah. It's between Wilson and Ayuk for me, but I think I'll go ahead and lead towards the safety of Wilson. And we'll do one more question before we dive into DFS from home run, full PPR, need one for flex, Hunt, Jeff Wilson, AJ Dillon, or Julio Jones.
Oh, jeez. What an embarrassment of riches there, right?
You got some choices there, right? Yeah.
I really do. I kind of feel like I want to go with Dillon here. I don't know. I mean, Wilson, again, probably going to split the role up there. I worry about, Nick Chubb versus Kareem Hunt just because it's the Jets, right? I mean, so you might as well just run Chubb at them and, cut down on the passes to the running back. And then, Julio Jones, you don't have Chris Godwin. Maybe Julio and Tom Brady are, new besties, but I'll take A.J. Dillon just pounding on that defensive line for the Bears.
Yeah, I agree. I like what I saw out of him. And then again, I really like that I saw again, people remember he is a pass catching back. He's not just, he's going to get opportunities through the air. We're talking about full PPR, so you don't have to worry about him not seeing some of those catches out at the backfield. So I agree with you. I'm going with AJ Dillon. Are you concerned about Aaron Jones? Was it just a one-game fluke?
Yeah, I'm not yet concerned about Aaron Jones. I think that Matt LaFleur likes him. I know Aaron Rodgers likes him. So I'll listen. They got beaten up by Minnesota, right? I think everybody's underselling Minnesota's defense. That's actually what I think is going on here. So stop crying about how awful the Packers offense looked. Understand that how good Minnesota's defense actually looked. So that's where I'm at with that.
They did add some good pieces, got some healthy pieces back. Danielle Hunter. I found it interesting. I wonder if Zadarius Smith kind of gave like a little bit away on Green Bay in that matchup. That was Kind of funny, but yeah, I agree with you on that one. Not fully concerned. Aaron Jones looked good. I don't think it would be one thing if he came out there and he was averaging like 3 yards per carry. We'd be like, oh, okay, this is not working out well. But statistically, he was fine. Just need to get a little bit of increased usage. But jumping in real quick to a little bit of DFS tonight before we close out with the rest of the questions, because this is an interesting one because we've got such an aggressive presence in terms of these two quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, we kind of had that a little bit last week as well, but we've got Patrick Mahomes, we've got Justin Herbert, and there are multiple ways that we can stack this, and there are obvious ways. There are some value pieces that we might have to go to as well. So when you're looking at these high price targets, are you going directly to the Mahomes Kelsey stack?
No, I don't necessarily know if I am. I mean, I like the idea of using either Herbert or Mahomes in the captain seat, which obviously then you have to kind of dig up a few more bargains there. I mean, I like it. I like Mahomes and Kelsey. I think that it's good. It's solid. I think it's a little on the obvious side though, also, and I think that the Chargers are going to be looking for that, right? I think this Chargers defense. That's why I'm saying I said it earlier. I think this Chargers defense is really, really good. I might look to go with like a Justin Herbert, Mike Williams stack and try and
Yeah.
kind of piece some things around with the wide receivers from Kansas City as opposed to saying, oh, well, let me go with Josh Palmer or DeAndre Carter. That's the obvious, right? That's where everybody's gonna go. You do Herbert and Williams, and then you're like, all right, let me squeeze a little Mecole Hardman in here. Let me splash a little MVS in here. Throw down a little Gerald Everett in there. Maybe that's what does. I should build that lineup right now. Why am I?
Yeah, because I was actually just about to ask because
Should I build it on DraftKings or
obviously
FanDuel?
um either or. I've got DraftKings prices ahead of. Well, we could if you want to split. I have DraftKings up if you want to do
All right, I'm
FanDuel.
gonna go to FanDuel then. Let's see. Let's see. Let's have a look. See. Let's build a little lineup, shall we? I like it. I like it. Oh,
Yes.
that is the wrong website that I just went to. Only
Yeah, I was
because
going
it's
to
a
ask you
typo. It was
about
just a
Mecole
typo.
Hardman because he is significantly cheaper than Juju, who kind of got a little bit of a price increase now that we are fully believing in him.
All right. Oh, I didn't even think about Eckler. What about Eckler?
Mm-hmm. That one was an interesting leverage play when you consider the fact that people might be off of him after that week 1 performance.
They really might be. They really might be. I mean, I don't know if I can afford to have
Yeah, you're not getting a discount on him.
Herbert, Williams, Eckler. Let's see, where can we go? Where's Mecole Hardman's down there, and
Mm-hmm.
oh, this could be very interesting. Oh, I miss it by 1,000. What if I? All right, now I gotta. What if I put Eckler into the MVP spot instead of?
Mm.
Do I get enough of a discount here? No, I don't. So I would have to go. I want to use Juju, right? But
Yeah,
he's
just too
11,000 here
expensive.
on FanDuel, so I would have to go. I would have to pay down to MVS. So let me leave Eckler out and let me see if I can do that original. Like I said, if we go Herbert, Mike Williams, if I go Juju Smith Schuster, oh, I have a ton of money left beyond that, right? Oh no, I don't want. Why would you give me him? I don't want him.
Are you interested in Sky Moore at all?
No. Are you?
No, he's super cheap, but for a reason. Poor Sky Moore. Oh man.
Poor Sky Moore.
Maybe towards the middle of the season, buddy.
So here you go. I could go Justin Herbert in the captaincy, Mike Williams, Juju, Mecole Hardman, and Gerald Everett. That still leaves me $4,000 on the table.
Let's see. So you've got Justin Herbert, Mike Williams, Juju. Where is Juju over here? Let's see. Gerald Everett. Okay, so on DraftKings, if I go Herbert and the captain, Williams, Juju, Hardman, and Everett, I've got 5,800 left, which gives me Josh Palmer.
Ooh.
That's some aggressive investment into the
that was the greatest
into the Chargers.
That was the greatest yummy noise I think I've ever heard. That was outstanding. Outstanding. What if I did why is this I'm still dying to try and fit Juju in there instead of Valdez Scantling, even though I should probably just do Valdez Scantling because he's that nice deep threat, but
any interest in CEH? He's awful expensive. He's more expensive than Juju on DraftKings.
Right. That's what that's what two whatchamacallit. That's what 2 touchdowns will get you from last week. Unreal. Nope, I can't do it that way. Boy, this pricing is all kind of crazy and botched up. Really is. It's tough to. I mean, you can leave a ton of money on the table, which again, I'm not totally against leaving money on the table. But am I leaving too much on the table? That's the question here. I guess really, here's the question. Where are you getting weird in your lineup? Like, is there a spot?
Yeah.
Is there a spot where, you feel like you could get that, like, that oddball player that nobody's using?
Yeah. I wonder what the ownership percentage on MVS is.
I don't know, but I think I might. I'm just going to play that lineup right now. I'm going to go with Justin Herbert. I'm going to go with Eckler because I think there'll be low ownership on him. I will go Mike Williams, and then I will go MVS and Mecole Hardman.
Yeah,
that fits. Leaves
it's different. I think that's it. I mean, yeah,
leaves me $0 over.
I like it. It is different.
Is it though?
I'm a fan.
Is it?
I think so. I feel like, and now granted, I probably should have looked a little bit at projected ownership, but I feel like going with that Mahomes Kelsey stack is going to be the standard there. I do feel like putting Herbert in the captain position is going to differentiate you just enough, and especially combining it with Eckler.
I love it. I'm in it. Herbert, Eckler, Mike Williams, Marquez Valdez Scantling, Mecole Hardman.
Yes.
Faden, Kelsey, and Mahomes.
There we go.
Could either be the greatest move in the world or the dumbest move in the world.
It will win or lose. But I mean, if we're playing a GPP lineup, you want to win, or so you got to go for it.
There you go. All right. Should we rapid fire these questions here?
Yeah, let's jump back in there. I think we left off with Lebo Samuel. PPR, need a wide receiver and a flex between Lazard, Boyd, Landry, and Dameon Pierce.
All right. Lazard is a lock for me. Boyd, if Higgins is out. If Higgins does play, then you pivot to Landry.
Yeah, I think that one's super clear cut. YC POF 05 Dynasty League. Both Kenneth Walker and Amari Cooper available. Really? How much fab would you spend on them?
I mean, at least 20% for Kenneth Walker for me.
Yeah, for sure. I'm diving right in there.
Yep.
Interesting.
Cooper.
Yeah.
I guess Cooper and Dynasty.
Although, I mean, Dynasty. I mean, we're talking about Deshaun. He's coming back at some point. Yep. So, yeah. All right. C. Rourker. Standard League. Who would you start? CEH, James Robinson, Aaron Jones. Or I'm sorry, not James Robinson. I'm sorry, James Conner.
James Conner.
Yes.
I'm going with Conner here in a standard league. Yes.
Yep. Agree. Roddy, half PPR, need one running back, one flex between Travis Etienne, Brees Hall, Darrell Henderson, Antonio Gibson,
Ooh.
AJ Dillon, and Michael Thomas.
Wow, one running back and one flex out of that one there. I think I'm going to go with Henderson as the running back.
Mm.
Like I've got Henderson, Gibson, and Dillon right now staring me in the face, and Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Even. I mean, that's a tough one there. So if I'm looking at Mal Gibson against Detroit,
Yeah. I'm putting Michael Thomas in the flex for the upside, and then for the running back position, I'm torn between Gibson and Dillon.
All right, I'll tell you, it's going to be Gibson.
Gibson, yeah, I thought so.
Gibson and Thomas, there we go. Scuba Steve.
Right. Yes. PPR, trade away. James Robinson and Dotson for Antonio Gibson.
I'm not doing that, actually.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
I'm in on Gibson in redraft, but I don't think that I'm still concerned long term what this look between Gibson and James Robinson is.
Yes, I agree with you completely on that. Not to mention the fact that, you know what? I mean, Gibson, you're sitting there. I mean, Robinson's coming back. You just said, right? Like you just said, it's not he's not a lock there. Not a lock. Next question. Radical. What prop bets do we like for tonight's game? Ooh. I like Eckler's rushing and receiving yard prop. I was looking at that earlier. I like the over on that one.
I think that makes sense.
I don't think I really dove too deeply into the props for tonight's game. I just want to see Mahomes and the offense against this Chargers defense is really what it comes down to. So, yeah, I like Eckler. H-Town, flex for this week, Hardman, Mooney, Sterling Shepard. PPR. You like Mooney, don't you?
It's Mooney for me. It's Mooney for me. I will say I was encouraged by what I saw from Sterling Shepard. So I think he's oddly low owned. I don't understand why people aren't stashing him on the bench right now. But yeah, I agree. Mooney for me.
Yeah, great article by John Impemba, a little player spotlight on Sterling Shepard today. You guys can check that out at fantasyalarm.com. Almost as good as that Deep Cuts waiver wire video I was watching earlier. I don't know who that hostess was, but she knew her shit, man. I'll tell you.
She tries very hard. I'll tell you that.
She does a good job. I like her.
All right, Roddy. Another question from Roddy. Tight end PPR. Oh, I like this. Pat Freiermuth or Gerald Everett?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's Everett for me. I think Everett's target share goes up without Keenan Allen there. I think him and like everybody's like in on DeAndre Carter. I'm like, I think Everett probably garners a few extra targets before Carter does. I like Freiermuth, but Bill Belichick will do as much as he can to scheme against Freiermuth in this one. So I like Everett there.
I agree. I think he probably honed in on the fact that when it came down to it, Pittsburgh seemed to rely heavily on Freiermuth. So I think long term, I think Freiermuth has an excellent opportunity in terms of the way that he was used. But I agree with you that Everett has the better opportunity in this game right here. All right. Question from Giants fan 13. Half PPR. Would you play Palmer over DJ Moore, Rashad Bateman, or Michael Pittman?
No.
Would you do it? Worried about okay, I get it. You're worried about Palmer's quad injury. Maybe you want to go ahead and knock Palmer out. I'm not concerned about that to the point where I'm going ahead and plugging in Palmer. I would prefer to start. I would wait it out. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yes.
Here you go. Benny Boz wants to know A-Rob versus Palmer. Palmer it is.
This is a situation where I'm going Palmer.
We're both going Palmer here. Absolutely.
DA Slurry 1. Another question again. Would you start Burks, Robbie Anderson, Devontae Parker, PPR, in flex over Zeke?
Ooh. Yeah, probably not over Zeke. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I probably wouldn't play. I'd probably just leave Zeke in there.
Yeah. I'm not as concerned about Zeke as I am the pass catchers
Yes, I
in
agree with that.
Dallas.
I agree.
So yeah, I'm with you. I'm sticking with Zeke. Stump the Shab. Everett, another tight end question. Love these tight end questions. Everett, Komet, Logan Thomas, David Njoku. Need to drop one. Half
Oh,
PPR.
why do you? I need to drop
Huh.
one. Why do you
This
have
must
four tight
be.
ends?
Hmm. What? How long? How big is that bench? That's a
Seriously,
massive bench you've got there. That's what I
I'm dropping. I'm
think.
dropping Logan Thomas.
I'm probably gonna drop David and Joku. Just because I don't know if we're gonna. Yeah, I didn't like what I saw. I'm concerned about the. Now, granted, I was in on it because I thought that Jacoby Brissett would rely heavily on him because we saw good things with his tight end usage before. But I don't know. I
Okay.
think it might be Njoku that I'm dropping.
Okay. All right. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Another question. In PPR, would you play Parker, Robbie Anderson, or Burks over Thielen?
Nope.
Nope. Yeah. And then question for Howard. I don't know the reference on this one. I'll let you take
It's
it.
a music one. Revolution or stick figure. I'll probably go with Revolution on this one here. I actually haven't seen or heard a lot of stick figure, but Revolution I've been to a couple of shows, so I'll lean on over there.
I am music ignorant, so yes.
Oh, well, maybe the
Yeah, I
next
know.
time Fish comes to your local arena, maybe I'll zip out there and take you to a show.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay,
100%.
done.
And then we got one last question from Lebo, whose name I love because it reminds me of Debo. One more PPR, need a flex from Zeke, Josh Jacobs, Christian Kirk, Melvin Gordon, or Alan Lazard.
Only need one. Oof. I'm going to say Alan Lazard because again, I think he gets just mad targets here. But I love Christian Kirk. I can't. I
Yeah.
can't speak out against Christian Kirk. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I figured you were going Lazard. I will go Kirk to make it a split decision between us. Because I love my boy Christian Kirk. I do.
We're going with Lazark. Lazark is going to
Yes,
be the player of the decade, no doubt.
absolutely. All
No.
right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was a fantastic show. Awesome questions. Thank you all so much for submitting them into the Discord. And hopefully we got a fantastic game going on tonight, a high volume game. And Howard, you do not think we're hitting the over, right?
I think I'm telling you, I'm taking Chargers +4, and I'm taking the under 54.
I think that is very reasonable. I would agree with you. So, guys, we appreciate you joining in. Go enjoy the game and come back next week. We are here every single Thursday before the Thursday night show, taking your questions and previewing the game, talking DFS, all this good stuff. We look forward to seeing you next week. For Tara and Howard, we'll see you later, guys. Enjoy the game.